Hello, how are you? And I'm here today live. I really wanted to talk about something that happened. Why does it always look like there's something happening up on top of me? I really tried before going on live to figure this out, and I thought I did. Oh, hey, Sarah. Happy Valentine's Day. That's my sister. I wanted to share with you. Sada actually did not tell you this. I'm excited you're on because I really want to share this with you. The other day, I was cooking, and I had this feeling inside of me like, I just want to call this person, and I'm not so close with this girl, but it just came over me. And if this has ever happened to you, you understand. And for some of you, you have actually acted on it just like I did when I said to myself, even though my hands were filled with food, stuff is happening, my kids are in the living room, I said to myself, I'm going to call this friend up right now and just say, hey, how are you? I was thinking of you. So I pick up the phone, and I'm thinking it's probably a crazy time in her house too. I'm going to send her a voice note. So I say, hey, hon, how are you? I was thinking of you. I just wanted to send you my love. You were in my heart, and I don't know, just uplifted me to think about you. It just put me in a good mood, and I just want to tell you I'm so proud of you. And I just started sharing things with her that I'm proud of her about. So she receives the message, and she sends me a voice note right back. She says, and I hear it in her voice, like she sounds a little bit like she's in an unsteady place emotionally, and she says, thank you so much for your voice message. Like, she's like, I was just in a place just now mentally, like I'm really going through a lot right now, and it was so nice to hear your voice message. Okay, so I thought that was the end of that, right? So no, Yocheved, it was not you. Okay, so, but yes, Yocheved, I do call you too from time to time to tell you I love you. Okay, so then she starts sharing with me a little bit more. And we come to this point where we're going back and forth on these voice notes. And I realize, like, Hashem has really put me in her path. Like, that feeling that I had, it was from a higher frequency, because she responds after all of these back and forth exchanges of her sharing and unloading her burden of what she's going through. And she says to me, I'm so grateful that this chance conversation happened, because I really did not know how to deal with this feeling. And I was just like, I'm so grateful that I'm able to share that with you. So, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about that simple act of kindness and how far that took in terms of being able for her, and maybe for you too, to realize the power of perspective. So when she first started speaking with me on that voice note exchange, she said, I'm going through a lot right now. There's family things going on between somebody in her family. Without going into details, she's really being misunderstood. Like, you ever had this where you're trying to be somebody nice for someone in your family, or maybe your in-laws' family? Blink if you know what I'm talking about. And somehow your behavior is interpreted on the opposite end, where they're kind of judging you as being hostile or rude or not nice or selfish. I mean, fill in the blank that categorizes one negative connotation of what your positive behavior is trying to accomplish in the opposite direction. And so now she says, I don't know how to behave, because whatever I do is misunderstood, and I just don't know how to really deal with the frustrations of this situation. And so this is what I told her. Don't question why people behave the way they do. Question instead, because you will not get the answer. It is all those years of whatever trauma they went through that brought them to this conversation with you, that made them act the way they just acted. Don't ask yourself, why are they mean to me? Why do they behave like that to me? Ask yourself instead, why do I react that way? Be reflective. That intellectual ability to ask yourself that question, even though you're in this emotional drama, it takes time, but it's also very empowering once you practice being curious about why are you feeling so emotionally ripped apart anytime that specific person, and you may have that person in your life where whatever they do, it just rubs you the wrong way. Or whatever you do is being interpreted in the wrong way, and that's why you're annoyed and you don't know how to deal with this person. And you can only categorize them under one umbrella, which is they're crazy. Like, you ever had that? You're like, she's just crazy. Who does that? So I want to just tell you this. When someone's living in that frequency, what they see around them, how they view the world. Ella, you're watching me. Ella, I texted you. Please look at the text I sent you, okay? I need you to see me tomorrow. Okay, so back to the story. Whenever you feel this response, it's a great time to ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What is it inside of me? And this was a powerful sentence when I said it to her. She really felt it. Don't ask why she's pushing you. Ask, why are you falling so quickly? Why do you fall apart like that? What is it about her or about that person that tears up your self-confidence, that makes you doubt who you are? You know, it's that when you start doubting yourself, that's when all the pieces fall apart, where you can't really stand up. I tell you, with myself, as soon as I started to believe that I can drive, I drove better. But when I'm around people who think that I can't do something, like if my dad's nearby, my driving gets worse. You know, because my interpretation is like, oh, that's what he thinks of me, so therefore I think about myself like that too. So when you start thinking that other person's thinking about you in that negative way, you start reacting with less confidence in yourself about how great a person you are. No matter what people tell you, your spouse or your friends or somebody who you care about says to you, you're such an amazing person, it doesn't work, because you really need to ask yourself, why am I so reactive? Why do I feel it so quickly? I just saw Ella's comments with the emojis. So I hope this gives you something to think about learning instead not to question why people behave this way, but really instead to question why you react a certain way. And then on top of that, this is a higher level thinking now, to start to empathize with that person who's misinterpreting your kindness. Empathize, because what kind of person does it have to be to look at your kindness, whatever you did nice for them, and interpret it in a way that's not nice? What does that person, what has that person had to go through in order to interpret the world through those eyes? It means that their mirror that they're looking through, as they're looking at the world through their own eyes, through this mirror, is all cracked and shattered. So even if you present them with this beautiful gift, they only see the cracked pieces and they interpret it. Because I believe this, nothing is inherently good or bad. I mean, yes, certain things are inherently good or bad, but I'm saying, like, in terms of behaviors, right? When, let's say it's Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day to all you beautiful ladies and all you men out there, but let's be honest, it's really for the ladies. For whoever's celebrating, let's say your husband got you one rose. It's not good or bad what he did. It just is. How you interpret it becomes good or bad, right? Because he had good intentions, perhaps. How you receive it, like, oh, you only got me one rose? Okay, my friend got 20. Or in a different way is, if he get you 20 roses, you say, you know what? I really think that was a waste of money. Why did you spend that money on roses? You know we're not supposed to be like spending excess right now, right? You interpret it. It's the way you receive that information, and that depends solely on how you live your life and how you perceive the world around you. That has nothing to do with his actions. He could have done anything, and it could be, right? Doesn't that ever happen where you think to yourself, I'm going to do it this way. Still not right. Then you do it a different way. Still not right. And you keep doing it different ways. It's never received right. Why is that? Because it's not what you do. It's how it's received. And that has nothing to do with you. And please, please realize you are making it about you. You're making it about you when you start to say things like, why does she treat me like that? It's not that she treats you like that. She has a problem with how she sees the world. That's not a you problem. That's a her problem. You're making it about you because you're making it that you have the power to change that. Like you're thinking, maybe if I do this, maybe if I do that, nothing you do will change that. And if she's nice to certain people and not nice to certain other people, also not having anything to do with you. It has to do with how she sees the world and how maybe in her own interpretation of how she constructs the world around her from her childhood up until adulthood, certain types of people get different kinds of reactions from within her from a childhood age. It's interesting because I've actually read about this where certain people feel very intimidated, right, from certain kinds of people, while other people, they like are attracted to that because they feel comforted by that type of personality because they grew up with that kind of sister, let's say, and so they jive well with that. It's really nothing to do with you. It has to do with everything they've ever been through. And how powerful is it when you can own that it's not your responsibility, and own instead your power of what is within your capacity to control, and really ask yourself, what's within my scope of control? What am I in charge of? And when you start to recognize all the things that is not within your power, like the way other people grew up, the way other people interpret your kindness or whatever you're doing, it has to do just with them and not with me. Isn't that powerful? Thank you, Yanichka. Hey, Violet, I miss you. Hi, Zoe, I see my cousins on. I love all of you. I really just, I want to just add one more thing. I'm reading this book right now. It's such a good book. Read the first book if you haven't read her first book. It's called The Choice. This is called The Gift. I already read The Choice. I'm reading this book in the moments when I'm trying to put my kid to sleep and he's crying. There's so much wise words in here. I feel like I want to share with you. I want to relate it to something that we discussed just now about breaking through that prison. Each chapter is described as the prison of self-neglect, the prison of guilt, the prison of grief, the prison of avoidance. It's powerful. Basically, this woman went through the Holocaust and she became a psychologist. Her name is Edith Eger. And if you want to get inspired, if you want to get a change of perspective, this is a great book, and she has some practical tools and tips in there. I think I'm going to talk about this book in depth, class by class. Thank you. I see your comment, Susan. Thank you. I love you. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about. So have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow at Yocheved's live with special guest. I won't share who it is, but I just had a WhatsApp video chat with him and Avi and Yocheved to discuss. It was really awesome. I had a really great conversation. I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about. There's so many wonderful topics that we're going to share. I'm so blessed. Can we just take a moment to recognize each of our blessings? So many powerful blessings today and every day. And sometimes we have to dig a little deeper, but they are there. And especially when you feel like your surroundings are throwing you off and breaking you down, you have to ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? This is such a simple, powerful question, because it's really about what kind of questions we ask ourselves. We think in question form. If you don't realize this, start to listen to how you think, and you'll ask yourself, why did she do that? How come my supervisor is not answering my text? It's always in question format where you're trying to give yourself questions and answers. I want you to ask yourself better questions. So instead of asking yourself, why does she treat me like that? Why is she always hostile? Why can't I just, forget her? Ask yourself instead, you know what? What am I grateful for? Because whatever you invest in, whatever energy you're putting in, realize that energy, it's finite. You don't have unlimited potential of energy for every single day. You have like this pocket of energy, and if you work with it in a productive space, it yields something bigger. But if you deplete its resources and invest it into these draining spaces with people who don't understand you or misinterpret you, you know what happens? You're giving away all your energy to that space. I realize now what I look like. I look like a minion, but I'm happy. I like it. It looks just like a minion. Something very interesting. I thought it was very cute when I bought it from TJ Maxx, but do I look like a minion? Tell me the truth. I don't mind. So whatever, I got distracted just now. The minion piece is just too much of it's too minion-y. So yes, I want you to ask yourself really empowering questions about what you're grateful for, about the things in your life that you appreciate, about this is a powerful one. What is this trying to teach me? What am I learning from this? What can I grow in this? Where's my growth in this? Because if you start to realize it's all coming from a place of growth and not from a place of hurt, like God doesn't want to hurt us. Everything we're going through in life, it's really to open us up, to crack us open. And if we start to accept that as opposed to reject that, we can learn to acknowledge that its presence is not a painful piece of our life. Its presence is to empower us and teach us a little bit about ourselves. You know, I had this problem with one of my family members, and I was really having trouble controlling my language. I talk a lot. I don't know if you noticed. So I decided I'm going to read this book. It's called Purity of Speech, and I'm actually in a group chat with this. I started a group chat on WhatsApp because it's promoting me to read it once. I used to read it every day. I read it once a week or whatever, but it's making me, when I accepted that I have the speaking problem where I talk about people unnecessarily, I accepted that instead of saying, why is she so mean to me? I start saying, why do I have such a problem with her? What's wrong with something that I need to address for myself? You know what happens? I start to recognize places where I can fortify my personality more. And that's where I started reading this, started changing me, started recognizing, making me more humble to realize, like, I'm not all that in a bag of chips, right? Maybe I am, but not to a point where I can talk about other people to that, you know, like I'm better or whatever. And if I do that, it's a lesson that I need to work on my language. And I can't get to that place if I don't ask myself, what can I learn from this? Where can I grow from this? Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. See you tomorrow night. Have a great, wonderful weekend. Happy holiday if you're celebrating President's Day, or if you're celebrating this one right here. What is it? Valentine's Day. Enjoy. And whatever you, just celebrate being alive. Celebrate having family, friends. Celebrate looking amazing. So, because you do. And hi, Zalman. I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great night. Bye.